Alright guys, I've been leaning up way too quickly. I'm like 169.6 and I need to fill up big time, so I got some burgers and fries from Burger Priest. Let's do it. So we picked up some burgers from Burger Priest and some fries. I'm gonna take down like 2,000 calories right now. I'm gonna fill up, I'm gonna feel beautiful. And in this video, I want to talk about how to get to 6-7% body fat without tracking calories or macros, because that's something that a lot of people want to know. Because there's a shift in the industry right now that's like towards tracking everything, if it fits your macros, flexible dieting, calorie counting, and so forth. Because we know to achieve a great physique, to drop fat, we have to be in that caloric deficit. We have to get enough protein. And so naturally, people are just obsessing about their macros and their calories, weighing every last gram of food. And to be honest, in the last couple years, I don't track shit. I don't track anything. And as you can see, I'm around actually 6% body fat. When I was quite a bit fatter, I got pegged at 7.7%. Then I dropped about 4 pounds of fat. So now I'm, 6. And I'll probably do another DEXA scans too to kind of show it. But yeah, so the reality is you don't have to track your calories or your macros if you want to lean down. You just have to be in that deficit and get optimal protein. And that doesn't mean you have to track everything, obsessively. Because I actually find it's easier when you let go of tracking and weighing everything. I find it's easier to drop fat when you let go of all that stuff, because a lot of times, if you're compulsively tracking everything, it becomes like an addiction, and also tends to deplete your willpower reserves, which no one really talks about. But if you're spending all this mental energy trying to fit things into your macros and count this and this and this, it's gonna probably deplete your willpower reserves, and then you're gonna be more likely to go over your macros. That's been my experience. And so I do always recommend tracking your calories at first, but then you wanna stop. And I actually have a strategy I'm doing right now, which basically means I can eat at a very good deficit and lose fat without tracking at all. And basically that's the aggressive fat loss program. And the link to that course is right here. It's a freaking killer program, super effective. I have a few thousand people in the Facebook group, and they're all getting incredible results. And so the premise of the strategy is we're trying to make eating at a caloric deficit as easy as possible. An aggressive caloric deficit as enjoyable as possible, while getting in enough fats and carbs to promote proper testosterone, hormonal balance, training. See, when people go on crash diets and they feel like shit, it's because they cut out fats and carbs. And we know through research that both fats and carbs are vital for testosterone promotion. So as well as leptin, important hormone. Carbs, help promote leptin, a hormone that regulates metabolism and appetite. So carbs and fats are super important. If you're doing an aggressive diet, you want to set protein at the minimum. You want to set protein at the minimum, which is about 0.82 grams per pound of body weight. And I actually often go lower than that with no ill effects. So the reality is this aggressive fat loss program is basically designed to make that calorie deficit as easy, as effortless as possible. I want to make it so enjoyable, and I'll get Snapchats, because I have people on Snapchat now and Instagram, like Instagram DMs, and I'll get people telling me, dude, this is insane. I have 600 calories left and I'm stuffed. And these are guys that are on 1,800 calories, 1,700 calories, like maybe at most 2,100. And it's because of how we set up the diet. And when you set up a diet like that, you can just let your body, you can just use your body to guide you, and you can lean down really fast. So the way the diet's structured is basically with intermittent fasting. You're gonna wake up for the first couple hours, not drink anything except for water, just water. Then you're gonna use coffee to strategically blunt your appetite later into the day. And then when you get a bit hungry, you're gonna do some strategic fruit snacking to replenish liver glycogen, stave off your hunger even more. And then by the time you have your first meal, it's late in the day. And obviously there's a lot more that goes into it than this. And then you have one huge meal per day, you have one smaller meal. A little really cool strategy is to actually break up let's say you're having a big meal of like steak and potato wedges. I'll actually eat all the steak and vegetables first, and then a couple hours later, I'll eat the potato wedges. That's a really good satiety trick. Don't have your meat and your side together. Have that side later, and you'll actually have, you'll be full for a much longer period of time. Because if you eat dinner at 6 and you finish dinner at 6:30, you're gonna get hungry probably, a few hours later. That said, if you finish if you have your dinner at 6, but then you don't have the potato wedges until 7:38, it's gonna be so much easier to diet. So basically, we're putting in all these really good strategies, emphasizing really wholesome, filling, satiating food, and even some desserts and stuff that are also quite filling. Frozen yogurt ice cream, chocolate is actually really, really filling. Someone can overeat on cookies and junk and this and that, but no one is like going to town on chocolate, like, because you have a bit of chocolate and you're like, whoa, okay, I feel good. So the reality is, when you do all these things properly, you set up the diet in that way, maybe you track it for the first couple days, and you'll be like, okay, wow, this is insanely easy. And then from that moment on, all you have to do is just stick to the general diet, and you can just eyeball it. And you know what? Honestly, like, when you're getting to low levels of body fat, like 6-7%, it's more of an art than a science than anything else. People that diet, like bodybuilders and fitness models that diet to 6% body fat, you gotta understand, they're back up to fucking 12% in a few weeks. They can't stay there. They can't stay there because to them it's all about like a fucking crash to the competition. I would never do a fitness competition ever. I don't want to. I don't want that stress. I would rather just enjoy a lean physique. And so what happens is, as you're getting to a lower body fat, you have to become more in tune with your body. So if on average you aim to have about 1,800 calories per day, but then it's one day you're like shit, I'm really hungry, you eat your first meal, you're still hungry, I say, you know what, like, if it's legitimate, then eat more to be satisfied, you know. And then the next day you'll probably feel stuffed at 1,600 calories. Let your body be in tune with your body. Listen to it. And the cool thing is, when you do intermittent fasting, that's going to help you get in touch with your real body's hunger, which is really powerful. And when people struggle to lose fat, intermittent fasting is the best thing you can do to break that psychological attachment to food. Now, another thing is, so these are some basically, that's a general outline. If you want to get the full friggin' course, then you're going to want to go over to KinoBody.com /AFL. That's KinoBody.com /AFL, which basically is my aggressive fat loss program. It works insanely well. If you actually care to get lean, and it's something that, you know, you've been spending a lot of time on and struggling with, then I would do it. You know, if you have no issues dropping fat, don't worry about it. But the other thing that is really, really important is mastering the psychology, mastering the behavioral change, because a lot of times our mind stops us from success. Our mind stops us. And that's why I created a whole psychological component in the course. And there's two drills that I do. One is the drill that's basically teaching you how to become really present to the moment, teaching you how to be centered in the now. Because if you're obsessively focused with getting to 6-7% body fat, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to go by so slow. You're going to deplete your willpower, compulsively thinking about it, and then you're just going to break, and you're going to like freak out, and then you're going to feel guilty. But when you learn to be centered in the now, literally be centered in the now, where all you want is this moment. You're not, you know, projecting happiness in the future. You're just happy here. Even if you're 40% body fat, you are centered in the now. When you learn to do that, the journey flows with so much ease. The dieting and everything becomes so effortless. And then I have a drill basically to become extremely centered in the now, and that takes care of so much. Helps break free of all these negative thought patterns that stop you from success. I can't even tell you how powerful this drill has been for me. And the second drill is actually something known as self-hypnosis, which has been really important for me to break through that 10% body fat barrier, which I struggled with last year. And then I started doing some self-hypnosis stuff, and it was insanely effective. And I was a bit like, you know, I had a friend recommend this self-hypnosis stuff to me, who's actually a dating coach, funny enough. He's a good friend of mine. And I was a bit put off. I'm like, what, self-hypnosis? That sounds crazy. But he's like, no, dude, like, you can look at the research on self-hypnosis, and it's actually quite effective at producing behavioral change. But my experience with it was way more crazy. I started doing, you know, recording like self-hypnosis audios where I would put myself into a super relaxed and receptive state, and then I'd give my mind like positive suggestions. And every day after I did a self-hypnosis routine, I just found it so easy to stick to my diet, so effortless, you know. There was none of those cravings, none of that crap. And it was beyond powerful. And so actually in the AFL program, I actually created like a whole self-hypnosis script, which is absolutely money. You don't have to do it every day, because here's the thing, I don't do it anymore. For me, it was just a matter of doing it every day for a week, and then like once a week, and then all of a sudden, like, there was nothing. I wasn't fighting against a lean physique anymore. It just happened. And some people might be like, dude, you've lost me on this. I don't even know what you're saying. And a lot of you people might not even need this drill. You might not need this drill, or you might only need it when you get to a certain barrier. But it's definitely something that I think is effective. When I was talking to Carter Good, who got super ripped on my AFL program, he was telling me, like, yeah, once I started doing that drill, it was a total game changer. You have no idea how much it helped me. I know a lot of people. And so that's one of the things is a lot of times, you know, I can put someone on a diet, okay, and sometimes they just won't do it. There'll be resistance. They'll stop themselves. And that's what the behavioral change drills help you. Break through that. When you start to be able to live here in the moment, when you start to be centered in the now, and then you start to align your self-image with the person you want to become, you know, that self-hypnosis stuff, then all of a sudden, you don't have to obsess about everything to get to your goal. You can just flow there with ease. And so basically that's how to get to 6 to 7% body fat without tracking your calories or your macros. So you can have like chiseled abs and all that. Dude, this has been a total game changer. Like, you have no idea how much time and energy I've put into cracking this code, into becoming lean. If you look back at my older videos, I wouldn't post that often because I was struggling to lean down. Then I'd have episodes where I'd eat a ton, I'd put on a bit of fat, and I didn't even have the confidence to film a video because I felt disgusted with myself. It took me been a long process learning how to actually effortlessly stay at this low body fat. Because I was up at like 16% body fat for a while. I didn't post many videos, but you can see it in my face. Cracking this code has been so amazing. It feels incredible just to be able to not have to worry about eating and tracking and this and that, and to wake up every day knowing that I feel confident with how I look. It's so amazing. And for me, I was someone that is a fucking killer in the gym. I'll go into the gym and I will push like a motherfucker for personal records. I will get stronger, I will build muscle. That's not a problem for me. You know, of course, my training routines are insanely effective. When you look at the comments below and people get on my Greek God program or what have you, they're like, best strength gains of my life, this is insane. I've had guys that have been training for 10, 20 years and that like advanced elite guys, and they go on my programs and they're like, this is night and day difference. But that's always been something that has come with much more ease for me. The dieting, the getting the lean was the hard struggle part. That's where I really had to become a better person and to improve myself to get through that, to learn about these, you know, being present in the moment, being able to conquer my minds, and really uncovering a strategy that works so effectively. So if you guys want to check out the AFL program, Aggressive Fat Loss, it's at kinobody.com/AFL, or you can click right here. It's superbly effective. I don't like, you know, if you notice, I don't have any ads in my videos. I took all the ads down. I don't want you watching crappy Mike Chang or vacuum commercials before. I just want to deliver you great content. And sometimes I will say, you know, this is my relevant course that will help you. And the reason I do that is because I know how effective it is. I know how much it can change your life. And all I'm trying to do is help you get to your goal. And if you want to get the course, it could possibly absolutely change your life. And so it's right there. If you just want to keep watching these videos and you're not ready yet, you don't know me, like me, or trust me enough yet, that's fine too. Subscribe, ask some comments below. I'm going to try and stay active on the channel and help you out. But we have an amazing tight group community in the Facebook groups for people that are doing the, you know, aggressive fat loss, Greek God, and so forth. So that's it for today. That's all I wanted to talk about. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful. I know I was all over the place. But before you go, hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. And let me know if you have any questions or things that I need to kind of continue talking about, because this was a bit all over the place. But hopefully it left you with some really good keys. You know, hopefully it left you with some really good takeaways as far as learning to stop having to track everything, to start making amazing progress. But sometimes you're just gonna have to put your foot in. Sometimes you're just gonna have to jump in the water, because for me, I was scared to stop tracking, but then I traveled to LA for a month and I'm like, shit, I can't track shit. So I just eyeballed it, and I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna eyeball it, and if you do that and you stick to it, you'll be amazed at the progress you have, okay? There's nothing magical about tracking things and getting it exact. You know, just eyeball it and you'll do so well. Anyways, because the long-term goal isn't to have to weigh everything for the rest of your life. That's not the long-term goal. The long-term goal is to enjoy and love life without tracking everything. And maybe you just track your lunch meal. You have like a few meals that you make every week and you already know what the macros are, so you don't have to track them. But like, you know, also you might have meals where you go out and you just eyeball and you're like, I don't know what I'm getting or whatever. Or if I eat a bit more, I'll offset it the next day. You don't have to be obsessed with this. We want to move away from tracking. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. I got awesome content coming this week, so make sure to subscribe. Bye-bye.